Relative clause is one of the must-learn grammar items during your English learning journey. Whether you're writing a formal document, crafting an engaging story, or you simply want to pass your English exam, mastering relative clause is essential. I've made another video where I personified relative clause and she's had a conversation with conditional sentence. If you're interested, the link is in the comment. Okay, in this video, I have prepared 10 fill-in-the-blank exercise. You have to decide which relative pronoun you need to use and whether the sentence is a defining or non-defining relative clause. I'll give you time to work on it by yourself first, and then I'll walk you through each question and give an explanation. So make sure you watch it till the end. Alright, let's dive in. Number 1. The woman lives next door is a doctor. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun who because the subject is a person. The relative clause who lives next door gives us some extra information about her, but it's not crucial to know that detail in order to understand that she's a doctor. So this is a non-defining relative clause. Number 2, the car I bought last month, it's red. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun which or that because the subject car is a thing, not a person. In this case, the relative clause is essential to identify which car is being referred to. So this is a defining relative clause. Without this information, you might be wondering which car specifically I'm referring to. Number 3, the student won the scholarship. It's very intelligent. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun who or that because the subject of this sentence is the student. We use who or that to refer to people. The relative clause who won the scholarship is essential in this sentence because it tells us which student we are talking about. It's a key detail to understand the context. So this is a defining relative clause. Number 4, the house roof was damaged in the storm. Has been repaired. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun whose or which because we are describing the possession or association of the noun roof with the house. We use whose to indicate possession or association. The relative clause whose roof was damaged in the storm adds extra information about the house, but it's not necessary to know that detail in order to grasp the main point, that is, the house has been repaired. So this is a non-defining relative clause. Moving on, number 5. The book is on the shelf. It's mine. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun which because we're providing additional information about the book. Use which to refer to things. Maybe there's only one book in that room. The relative clause which is on the shelf gives extra details about where the book is, but it's not necessary to identify which book we're talking about since there's only one. So this is a non-defining relative clause. Number 6, the teacher I spoke to, it's very friendly. The answer for this one should be whom, because the teacher is the object of the verb spoke to. We use whom to refer to people as the object of a verb or preposition. The relative clause whom I spoke to gives us some extra information about the teacher, but it's not necessary to know that detail in order to understand their friendly nature. So this is a non-defining relative clause. Moving on, number 7. The man I saw at the park was playing guitar. Alright, the answer for this one is whom or that because the man is the object of the verb saw. We use whom to refer to people as the objects of a verb or preposition. But in the previous question, we can't use that because it's a non-defining relative clause. If you want to refresh when can we use relative pronoun that interchangeably with who and which. Check out my other video here where I dig into all the basics about relative clause that you should know about. So for this question, the relative clause whom I saw at the park, it's crucial in pinpointing the exact man involved. It minimizes the confusion and precisely identifies the man I saw at the park as the one playing the guitar. Without this detail, there would be uncertainty about which man we're referring to. Therefore, this is a defining relative clause. All right, number 8. The company CEO is retiring next year. It's expanding its operations. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun whose because we are describing the possession or association of the noun CEO with the company. We use whose to indicate possession or association. The relative clause whose CEO is retiring next year gives us some extra information about the company, but it's not crucial to know that detail in order to understand their expansion plans. Therefore, it's a non-defining relative clause. Number 9. The dog was barking loudly, chased its tail. In this sentence, we should use the relative pronoun that or which. The relative clause which was barking loudly, it's important here because it helps us identify which dog we're talking about. The speaker wants to specify the dog which barks loudly is that one. Without that information, the sentence would lack clarity. So this is a defining relative clause. All right, last one, number 10. The movie I watched yesterday was amazing. Last but not least, we should use the relative pronoun which because the subject is the movie. The relative clause which I watched yesterday adds extra context about the timing of my viewing, but it's not necessary to know the detail in order to understand that it was amazing. So it's a non-defining relative clause. Yay, congratulations, you've done it! It should get easier as you work your way through all the questions. Familiarize yourself with different relative pronouns. Consolidating your knowledge, practice does make perfect. Now, among all the grammar items, not only relative clause, if you're confused about when to use past tense and present perfect tense, no worries, I got your back. Check out this video right now and clear your confusion. Just like that. And until then, have a nice day. Bye, y'all!